made, and that's what we've been hearing for days from protesters across the nation over police killings. Now, here in the Twin Cities, hundreds of high school students walked out of class in protest on Monday, and starting tomorrow here, schools will remain remote through Friday as the world awaits a verdict. Michael.
All right, Elwin, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin.
Okay, but don't full screen a pair of titties on your camera because it's very visible from your glasses. Dude,
so
it'll be fine,
crazy
I think.
Shit that's going to happen today, Hassel.
Wow, look at that. Labor union in Minnesota was able to get the National Guard kicked out of one of their labor centers that they were using to stage
right
at.
Now. We've raised our issues with the union leadership. Are you guys taking off?
His voice break.
There's suddenly a lot of movement here. You can see all these folks.
Love all the content, Hassel.
Seem to be moving in quite a hurry here. Prior to us getting here, for those of you that just turning in,
who's this stamp?
Again, my name is Cliff Willing. I'm a registered nurse here in the Twin Cities areas. And we found out that one of the building trades folks had allowed the National Guard to occupy the labor center here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Obviously in the context of the uprisings against Derek Chauvin killing of George.
I don't know if technically this is the Third Amendment or not. That's why people are saying Third Amendment. For those of you who don't know, the Third Amendment in the Constitution of the United States dictates that no soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. I don't know if it's considered a house or not. That's why. Hey, what? Come in. Oh, I am.
Love seeing these boys together. Love this content.
Oh, what's good, man? Nice to meet you in person.
Finally.
Yeah, I gave you, I DM'd you what my Cash App name is and stuff.
On the back end.
Okay, perfect.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Finally meet you.
Yeah, this facility's great. By the way, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, this is.
Invite.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely take advantage of that for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So,
this is Mr. Cash App. John Cash App is here, guys. I don't know if they can see you in the corner there, but.
Mr. Cash App?
Yeah, John Cash App. That's him. It's John Cash App.
Who wants some subs?
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, this is great. I will. I'll keep it going, and I'll raid you guys when I'm done. With the stream. I'll probably end a little bit earlier too. There's not a lot of. I mean, hopefully there. I mean, I want the jury to come to a
some hyper Italian hands. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Hyper Italian hands. Can I see some of this? I just love that one.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, guys.
The boys are together. Earth is healing. Heart.
That room couldn't look any more uncomfortable. I mean, it is a little uncomfortable, but like it has to be fucking locked up because it's very. Otherwise, it would be super loud. Everybody would. Why are you in a cabin? I'm in a streaming room.
Incoming for child support.
Only a few feet away from the. Guys, I think they changed the Tostitos Fortnite room. By the way, I think it's now the Valorant training room. I don't know. It could still be the Tostitos Fortnite training room. I don't know. The lighting is so bad, though. It's crazy. It's not bad. It's just that I have a hat on. Are you gonna decorate it? It's not my room, motherfucker. This is literally like the 100 Thieves compound. I'm just streaming from in here because, guys, I described this already, but I guess I'll have to repeat myself a bunch more times, but I am currently in the 100 Thieves Cash App compound. The reason why I'm in the 100 Thieves Cash App compound is because I have an Uno tournament that I'm going to be participating in. Now, the Uno tournament that I'm going to be participating in requires me to be within the facility for the entire day. Why? Well, because there are a lot of COVID restrictions. We have been tested twice. I got tested again this morning, and also on top of that, I got a rapid test as well. So, for this reason, I am in here, and I am streaming from in here. Okay, let's just go back to the fucking, do they have Diet Mountain Dew? No. But I did mention that the only limitation I have is that there's no Diet Mountain Dew here. And Courage immediately was like, let's order some Diet Mountain Dew immediately. We'll get it for you. We'll get it set up for you. I'm like, no, I was just kidding. Like, don't do that, please. That would be very embarrassing if I had some guy literally like a runner go and grab Diet Mountain Dew for me like I'm some fucking diva. What is this? Hi there, Hasanabi. Fuck. Hi there, Hasanabi. It seems your average political content dropped 5.31 from last month. I'm going to need those numbers to pick up if you want an additional hour in the sunroom this week. If you want to see the sun, you need to deserve it. If you want to deserve it, you need to stream more politics. Are you a Cash App streamer now? No, I'm not a fucking Cash App streamer, chat. I'm doing a tournament that Cash App is sponsoring, an Uno tournament that Cash App is sponsoring. I wanted to do so I would, you know, hang out with Will and all this shit. Who's gonna cook your tendies today? I don't know. I'm just gonna eat whatever the fuck they got here today. I am not a part of 100 Thieves. Hey, Hasanabi, I want to lick your beard. Okay, nice, dude.
Yes.
Good shit. Okay, let's
George
keep going.
Floyd and the trial there, and then the additional racist police killing of Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center just several days ago. We came down here to confront them.
Very excited for today. Love 100 Thieves as an organ.
Folks seem to be moving nice and quickly here.
Today.
And moving out of the Labor Center. I want to give you a sense of how many people were down here, how many National Guard were down here.
Hey, Hussein.
Let's keep in mind from the labor movement perspective, the National Guard, we understand that these are working class folks, multiracial, multi-gendered, working class folks, but the labor movement of the National Guard has had a river of blood between the
Will you be playing GTA later? No. I can't. Because I am, I did not ask to put GTA on this computer. What the fuck is this 720p shit? Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, the quality is at 720p. Okay, here is some more information on the deliberations. What to know about the deliberations that are ongoing.
Sonny Hostin and jury and trial consultant Joellen Demetrius. Good morning to you both. And Sonny, I want to start with you. As a former prosecutor, what's your take on this jury?
You know, juries are, as TJ mentioned, loath to convict police officers, especially because it's counterintuitive for many jurors because they feel that police officers' role is to protect and serve. And I think that is why you see so few police officers being held to account when you see the death of unarmed black men. I think that this jury is a diverse jury. We're talking about 7 women, 5 men. We're also talking about a racial diversity. And I think that's going to be important because we do know that there is a difference in the experience of policing when it comes to different racial groups. And so I suspect that race will be a factor in the jury room.
And Joellen, what strikes you about the jury?
Well, first of all, I concur with Sunny on her overview of the jury. I would also say what's unique about this jury is that in jury selection, what we saw was each side picking what's was picking those people who believe in law enforcement, those people who probably are Caucasian, those people that are older, those people who perhaps had businesses or were concerned about businesses being burned down, whereas the prosecution was looking for what's traditionally a defense jury, and they were looking for probably people of color. They were looking for potentially lower socioeconomic levels. So that's what's first very uniquely different about this jury.
Sonny, the jurors have 3 charges to consider. So how do you see that playing out as they deliberate?
You know, they're going to be looking at second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and also second-degree manslaughter. The second-degree manslaughter only requires culpable negligence. So that is the least culpable charge. And I think it's going to give them the opportunity to reach a compromise verdict, because there may be some jurors that feel like second-degree murder, third-degree murder, those are sort of depraved mind charges. They may not be able to get there because of some of the factors that are at play.
I think out of all the charges, like third-degree manslaughter, it's the worst one. Like that will rile the people up, especially if it's like out of all the charges, like if they go with the or third-degree murder, sorry, second-degree manslaughter, like anything beyond second-degree murder. And I feel like, yes, the audio is slightly delayed, and I think that's because this is a two computer stream setup. It will probably cause a lot of conflict and a lot of strife, because of how unjust it is, basically. Like, it's going to be regarded as unacceptable. He's charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. The two questions are basically whether Chauvin caused Floyd's death and whether his actions were reasonable. And each of the charges require a different element of proof. Okay? For all the 3 charges, what the prosecutors had to prove was that Chauvin caused Floyd's death, okay, and that his use of force was unreasonable. Those are very easy to prove from my point of view, okay? The problem is all it takes is one juror to not agree. To convict on any of these 3 counts, jurors must find that Chauvin used a level of force that would be considered unreasonable to an objective officer in his position. Hindsight cannot be a factor. The charges differ when it comes to Chauvin's state of mind. With second-degree murder, there is a level of intent. Like, Derek Chauvin intended to murder this person.
Boy.
Not an intent to kill, but that Chauvin intended to apply force to Floyd. Okay? Which he did. All the way down to manslaughter, which will be the lowest charge. If he's convicted with manslaughter, then that only requires proof of culpable negligence. As in, he did not intend to apply the level of force that would have ended up murdering him, I guess. Second-degree unintentional murder is felony murder. To prove this count, prosecutors had to show that Chauvin killed Floyd while committing or trying to commit a felony. In this case, a third-degree assault. They didn't have to prove Chauvin intended to kill Floyd, only that he intended to apply force that caused the bodily harm. Okay? Like, Derek Chauvin, from my point of view, literally was just like, I want to murder this motherfucker. Like, this motherfucker is pissing me off and I want to murder him. But that's not the level of intent that you need to prove for second-degree unintentional murder. The only thing they have to prove is that Derek Chauvin intended to apply the amount of force on Derek Chauvin, which he did. Like, his foot being off the ground when his knee was on George Floyd's neck is a pretty fucking open and shut case. That's why they covered so much. That's why they covered this part of the murder so extensively. Did I say on George Floyd? Did I say the wrong thing? Derek Chauvin intended to murder George Floyd, and that's pretty obvious with his. What is this, dude? Why are you fucking sending this right now when we're in the middle of this? Come on. Okay. That's why the prosecutors called several medical experts that testified that Floyd died from a lack of oxygen, you remember, because of the way he was restrained, including a recreation of the entire scene where they went extensively, where they went point by point and thoroughly showed that the knee on the neck of George Floyd restricted airflow, that being smashed onto the concrete that applied extra pressure restricted his airflow, that he was handcuffed behind his back, okay, and that Derek Chauvin even pulled his hands, applied pressure to his hands by pulling his hands away from his body. He restricted airflow that way as well. Okay. A use of force expert said it was unreasonable to hold Floyd in the prone position for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, handcuffed and face down in the pavement. That's what the prosecutor's chosen use of force expert had said. Prosecution's witness Seth Stockton said no reasonable officer would have believed that that was an appropriate, acceptable, or reasonable use of force. Premeditation is incredibly hard to prove. You do not need to prove premeditation for second-degree unintentional murder. Or premeditation to murder. All you need to prove is that he intended to use force, okay? That he intended to use the force that ended up killing him. And that's it. If Derek Chauvin knew George Floyd and hated George Floyd and wanted to murder George Floyd and said he's going to murder George Floyd on that day, if he said, I'm going to do this, like, that would be a premeditative first-degree murder. That's not what we are even talking about, so it does not matter. We're not talking about that. Stop bringing up the fact that they may or may not have known one another and, like, old memes and shit like that. And stop being cringe. I don't know why you guys are being so fucking cringe right now when we're covering an important story. For third-degree murder, let's move on to, instead of second-degree murder, but wait, hold on. One other thing. Defense attorney Eric Nelson, that piece of shit douchebag.
Medium chungus.
He tried to raise doubts about the cause of death, right? And implied that it wasn't actually the pressure from the knee on the neck, that it wasn't, the actual actions of Derek Chauvin, but instead, the fucking concrete being hot,
7 months,
the carbon dioxide from the, from the exhaust. That there was underlying heart issues, that there was carbon monoxide, not dioxide, sorry, carbon monoxide. The underlying heart issues that George Floyd had, the drugs, there was drug usage in his history. He also then argued that that Chauvin's actions were reasonable, and that's what a reasonable police officer would do in this situation. That George Floyd was big and scary, and that he was under the influence of something and he could start fighting, and that nearby bystanders also presented a threat. Nearby bystanders that were telling Derek Chauvin to stop murdering George Floyd were a threat, and that's the reason why Derek Chauvin had to fucking murder George Floyd. It's easy to sit and judge an officer's conduct, said the defense's witness Barry Broad. It's more of a challenge to, again, put yourself in the officer's shoes to try to make an evaluation through what they're feeling, what they're sensing, the fear they have, and then make a determination. Fucking bullshit. For third-degree murder, that's the defense's witness.
Love all you degenerates.
For the third-degree murder charge, jurors have to find that Chauvin caused Floyd's death through an action that was eminently dangerous and carried out with a reckless disregard for and conscious indifference to the loss of life.
Sorry, Arjan.
Wait, did the word verdict reached? What the fuck? It will be announced. Wait, is this true? Or is that a debate? If you guys are debating, I'm gonna be so pissed. It will be announced at 4:30 Eastern. Okay. Not verdict will. Okay. This fucking guy is like some random dude though. Like he's a journal. Wait, where does he work? I don't understand. He's like some software engineer, a Froya nerd, and photographer. I don't. Hold on.
Play here, the fact that there's a police officer, former police officer, being charged. So I think that rather than jury nullification, where you see a jury say, you know, nope, there's no way I'm going to hold this person responsible, when you have a lesser charge included on the charge.
Derek Chauvin jury reaches a verdict. A verdict has been reached in the trial of Derek Chauvin, according to a notice post on the Hennepin County Court's website. A verdict has been reached and will be read between 3:30 and 4 p.m. Tuesday, April 20th, at in between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. All right. That's good. This is good. This is actually good news. Okay.
3.
So that's gonna be at 1:30 Pacific. This is good, boys. This is actually good. This is fast. It's very fast. Like for a fucking murder trial like this, sometimes it takes months. You know, I mean, not months, but like weeks. You know what I mean? So this is really fucking good. The Derek Chauvin. Wait, what are you drinking?
Green tea matcha latte.
You ordered a green tea matcha latte?
Yeah. Do you want it?
No.
I would give it to you for friendship.
No, it's fine. The jury has already reached a verdict. I think.
What is it?
Well, I mean, we're not gonna know until 1:30 our time.
Quick verdict is good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Quick verdict usually means guilty.
Yeah. 1:30 p.m. Pacific.
At least we know it's not a hung jury, right? Because those take at least a few days.
Yeah. No. It means this is straight up fucking Not only does this mean it's guilty, but I feel like it's literally.
She don't believe in shooting
yeah,
stars, but she believe in shoes and cars with flaws in the new apartment couture from the store's department.
He was charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. I don't know what he's going to be convicted with, so that's like the only. We know that, yeah, we know that they. It's good news. It's good news. How fast it was is good news, honestly.
When do you think that result will be read?
The result's going to be read in a couple hours at 1:30, in an hour, in literally an hour from now.
Whoa.
At 1 hour from now. Okay. Do you think it would, if it was not guilty, they would be setting up for riots like they did with previous verdicts? Dude. They don't know. Motherfuckers don't know. The reason why they're setting up for riots is because regardless of what the fucking jury decision is, like, they're still, regardless of what the deliberations is going to come to, they are just still getting ready for it. No one knows. Only 12 motherfuckers know, okay? Only 12 people know. That's it. Those are the only people that know right now. No one else knows. They're not like setting up ahead of time for riots. The reason why they're setting up though is the possibility of a shitty charge, a lighter charge, or a not guilty verdict could come. So that's the reason why they are setting up for it. Yeah, they are setting up for the off chance that he's acquitted, guys. That's the reason. That's the reason why they that they're setting up regardless. Will you be here for the verdict? They're playing Uno. No, I will be here. I will be here until. I will be here streaming until the Uno tournament, which is going to start at like. I mean, I'm going to be streaming it until 3 p.m. my time regardless, okay? You know? Hold on, let me put this up. Does that room have windows? It looks pretty comfy too. No, there's no windows here. The only
new setup I see.
Yeah, it is. The only problem I have with the room, and this is gonna be like a little lighthearted, you know, just to change the pace here for a second. The only problem with like the 100 Thieves compound, like streaming in here, is that I just can't fart. You know what I mean? Because like someone might just roll in here, and there's literally no fucking ventilation. So if I fart here, I feel like it's gonna hang in.
Blame anyone.
Yeah, if I fart in here, like, it's just gonna hang in the room for the entire day. And then, like, what happens if fucking Valkyrie walks in? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's... If Will walks in, I don't give a shit. I could just be like, I can't believe, Will, you farted, you know?
Thanks for
who gives a fuck?
Been watching for a doctor
like,
a year.
Oh!
Keep up the great
so
work.
it's just not happening, you know? It's just,
money.
It would literally be it's like an oven in here. I would be hotboxing. You are a diva though. Get those people to get you watermelon diet Mountain Dew. Why can't you fart? Let them breathe in that alpha energy. Just fart when you are ready to leave. Yeah, I would just be marinating in it, so I can't do that. Just blame Will. He's been coming and going, and it looks like his diet is shit. No, he's not. He looks great, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
It looks like his diet is shit.
Yeah, he looks like a god, dude. What are you talking about? Are you gonna smoke today? No, I'm not. Last time I smoked was literally on 420. Like, it's been 1 year since I smoked. If I fucking smoked and got, like, super blasted right before, super blasted right as the,
Uno
tournament is, like, happening, and right as I'm, like, literally supposed to be talking about, like, the George Floyd, trial, that would be devastating. You know what I mean? What if I get too fucking high? Like, that would be horrible. It just would not be good. But anyway, listen.
Sub-anniversary.
I know they've reached a verdict, guys. I see it right here. It's in front of me. Here, what is the boys? What's the live link for CNN? Let's pop in there for a second. Or actually, I know what to do. Hold on.
Hi.
I know what to throw on right
We're
now.
all
Sorry. Yeah, live at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Derek Chauvin trial is going. Is there? NBC News is live right now. So. Oh, Biden is doing a 100 days remark.
Tensions are rising along the Russia-Ukraine border. The number.
Okay, this sucks. Fucking classic NBC. I don't give a shit about this. Did you do the story about the police officer that died of natural causes, aka the fire extinguisher at the Capitol?
Now show US your cash.
We talked about it a little bit. Hold on. Wait a minute. They let you smoke at the Cash App place? I mean, why not? It's fucking legal here, brother. We're in California, and I'm a Twitch streamer. You know what I mean? I don't have.
Hi, someone do my homework,
the verdict
please,
is in for Chauvin being read in an hour. I know. Look at my fucking. Look at my friend. Look at my fucking title. Title frogs always forget to look at the title.
Hassle.
Why does the guy to your left look like he's from the Whig Party? It's Will Neff, dude. I mean, this is not there is nothing going on right now, so we'll just wait.
6 months, Pog.
Yeah. Why is Will dressed like that? Because he's a fun guy, and he likes to have fun.
Yeah, no, it's just how I dress now.
Oh, I have the Trump interview. We can look at that for
times.
now. I just wanted to let's finish this real quick though.
Sheet, perhaps you have a meeting of the minds and you have a jury reach that sort of compromise.
Well, I'll be back in 1 second.
Joellen, are there other factors outside of this case that could influence the jury?
Oh my goodness, absolutely, and I'll point to 4 of them. The first is the fact that there was the civil settlement between the city of Minneapolis and the Floyd family of $27 million, even though the judge has told them throughout the entire trial not to read or listen to anything related to this case. You know, it'd be pretty tough to avoid that. So that's number one. Number two is the fact that just over the weekend, while these jurors were not sequestered, one of the defense witnesses had a severed pig's head delivered to a home that was his former home with blood on it. That's rather disturbing. Third, there was the Dante Wright shooting also late last week, literally miles away from Minneapolis. And you've got the shooting of the 13-year-old in Chicago. So even though they may not be paying attention specifically to things revolving this case, they're going to be hearing about these other components. And I've said from the very beginning, this jury has to be very concerned about their own security, bottom line.
Good point there. And Sonny, what signs would you be looking for as far as jurors asking questions?
Oh gosh, this is the worst time for lawyers, by the way, trial lawyers. You're sort of like reading tea leaves when jury questions come in. I think you're usually looking for perhaps a question for the readback of testimony that's favorable to your case. You may be looking for clarification for jury instruction that you think is favorable to your case, but ultimately it's all in the hands of the jury at this point, and you feel pretty helpless as a trial lawyer.
I want to thank you both for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your insight.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
We at 100 Thieves would like to apologize for
and welcome to Hannity. And tonight we're broadcasting from the always beautiful Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, where in just moments, the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, he will join us for his first sit-down television interview since leaving the White House. No topic is off limits. No question is off the table. We'll cover Joe Biden, the radical left, the future of the GOP in 2022 and 2024, COVID-19, the crisis on our southern border, the mob, the media, and everything in between. Now, without a doubt, President Trump remains the most dominant force in American politics today, even now 3 months removed from the Washington swamp. When Donald Trump talks, the world, the country listens. So tonight, for the hour, we welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Mr. President, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, Sean.
All right, so I know a lot of people that are around you every day. This is what they're all telling me. You are working as hard as you did when you were in the White House, except you play a little golf more. That you're keeping an insane schedule, 7 days a week.
Will looks like
you really don't stop.
Well, we're seeing a lot of people. We're seeing a lot of good Republicans and a lot of good Americans, in some cases great Americans, and we are working very hard. And a lot of things to do, plus I'm getting more involved. For a long time, years, I wasn't involved in the business. I'm more involved in the business. We'll see what I do with respect to that. But the business is doing well, and we're doing well. It's been 5.5 years of investigations and hoaxes, and I see something came out just yesterday about the Russia was a total phony deal, and they hate to admit it, but intelligence came out.
They were putting a bounty.
Yeah,
on
the bounty, the big bounty deal, and now they say that it was a hoax, just like everything else. So it's a sad thing. You get impeached for doing nothing wrong, then you get a second impeachment.
The big bounty deal was fake news, by the way. It literally was. All right, let's go to the fucking
of this trial. Now, Lester, this trial,
he's not wrong about that.
45 witnesses spread out over 14 days of testimony. The prosecution calling witness after witness of this case, really breaking a lot of barriers in this trial. Breaking
no, I didn't pee. I just got coffee, but I need to pee as well.
By having so many officers testify one after another against Derek Chauvin, but the defense has countered and said that George Floyd died not due to Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck, but due to other factors that included drug use and underlying health conditions. We have seen demonstrators here over the past several days, especially yesterday, as this case went to the jury. There were several hundred peaceful demonstrators that gathered here outside the courthouse, but tensions have risen considerably over the last week, more than a week or so, since that other shooting just 10 miles from this courthouse in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, where Dante Wright was shot in a police-involved shooting as well. So this is all converging right now. Again, Lester, we are expecting that verdict to be read in just a short time, 4:30 Eastern Time. And then shortly after that, we expect the Attorney General to speak 20 minutes after that verdict is read. Derek Chauvin is facing charges of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in this case, Lester.
Gabe, I haven't done the math. Are we looking at about 10 hours of deliberations, roughly?
Defense attorneys say that, look, listen, defense attorneys will tell you that fast deliberations favor the fucking, favor defense over the prosecution. This is not a normal case, though. It's fucking insane.
They went home for the night. Deliberations resumed today.
And also, like, the average deliberations is a lot faster than this regardless, but this is really, I think this is fast for how long or how big of a case it is.
Another Minneapolis police officer, he was convicted in about 11 hours. So again, and about that same timeline. But you know, we really hadn't gotten any sense of what the jury was thinking, because oftentimes in these types of cases, Lester, there are questions that the jury may ask a question. We were told that the jury would be allowed to ask questions over Zoom. But to our knowledge, no question was asked. So we haven't, been able to read the tea leaves in that sense about what the jury may have been thinking. Of course, Lester, because of COVID protocols, this has been a trial unlike none other. They were sequestered once deliberations began, and this was a jury of, it was 12 jurors, 6 white jurors, 4 black jurors, 2 multiracial, 5 men, 7 women. that really this trial has been so closely watched. Back going into jury selection, there was a lot of questions, a lot of anticipations about the jury questionnaire they had to fill out. There was a lot of concern heading into this trial that they would be able to find an impartial jury, but the judge took great pains to make that happen. And even controversy throughout the trial about whether the jury should be sequestered or not, the defense coming back after that Dante Wright shooting the day after and asking for the jury to be sequestered. The judge said no, that they would only be sequestered once they entered deliberations. And so that's where we're at. Again, the verdict breaking just a short time ago that the jury has reached a verdict after more than 10 hours of deliberations. We're expecting to hear that verdict within the hour, Lester.
All right, Gabe, I'll ask you to stay with us as I turn to criminal defense attorney and NBC News legal analyst
I think
Danny
the second-degree
Savalas. Danny,
unintentional murder, felony murder charge is necessary.
But talk about the
I
three
am
charges
fearful
they
that
had to
they will
consider.
hit him with.
How complicated would it be
I
typically
fear
to go
that they will hit him
through
with
and understand what would be necessary for those
third-degree
charges
like
to
negligence
be found guilty on?
These are complicated charges in any ordinary situation, but Minnesota makes it a little more complicated by calling crimes murders that are admittedly unintentional killings. And you also have the confounding factor that second-degree murder and third-degree murder really aren't separated by degree or seriousness. They're separate crimes. Second-degree murder is essentially what's called felony murder, and the jury has to find that there's an underlying felony, in this case, aggravated assault. So they essentially have to find two crimes. And then you move to third-degree murder, which is totally different. It's murder committed during an eminently unsafe, eminently dangerous act, an intentionally dangerous act, which is different. It doesn't even require a felony. So the jury absolutely had some challenges here. And frankly, I'm surprised there weren't more notes sent out to ask questions about what exactly does it mean? What does intentionality mean? And then, of course, you have causation, which is always a tricky legal concept. Is it enough that he had his knee on his back and the person died? Or what do you need to show as a result? And what do you need to show about Chauvin's intent? These are tricky issues, especially causation, and particularly in this case, because causation is the one thing that if the defense prevails here, it's a defense to all charges, along with the argument that the knee restraint was authorized or acceptable under Minneapolis police procedure.
Let me ask you, maybe you answered it, but let me ask you this. It has to be one of the three, or could there be any combination of those three?
It could be a combination. It could be any, all, or none. Or, of course, we know this didn't happen, but they could have deadlocked on some or others. But we know that there's a verdict, and so it can be not guilty on some, guilty on others.
All right, Danny, I'll ask you to stand by as well and bring in Melissa Murray, an NBC News contributor and also a former law clerk to Judge Sonia Sotomayor. It is great to have you with us. I want to talk about, no matter what the verdict, there will be questions about the system. Did the system work? To the extent that the prosecution put on the case it did, to the extent that fellow police officers testified against Eric Chauvin, would that remove any questions about the system and how it worked, the fact that it ends up coming down to these 12 jurors?
Well, I think it suggests the way in which lawsuits or litigation are often ill-equipped to address the broader social problems that these questions often raise. So we saw the prosecution present a case that really focused on Derek Chauvin being a kind of rogue cop. So they didn't put policing on trial. They put Derek Chauvin on trial. But the larger conversation that's happening across America is really about whether policing protocols are actually appropriate, given the nature of some of the encounters that police officers have with civilians. So there's a different kind of conversation happening on the ground that just really wasn't happening in the courtroom, because understandably, this prosecution wanted to get a conviction, and they really couldn't get a conviction, or at least not the way they wanted, by prosecuting the police more generally.
Yeah, and that's the question. Their idea was, we're not prosecuting the police, we're prosecuting this one person. But as you say, on the streets, that's not what you're hearing from people. This is being seen as part of the reckoning over race and police use of force.
And I don't think it helped, Lester, that during the course of this trial, we had so many other episodes of police violence involving civilians, the Adam Toledo case, the Hernandez case in Virginia, and then, of course, the Dante Wright case. So it seemed almost as though during the course of this trial, there was this ongoing epidemic of violence. And that wasn't something that the prosecution was really
see the
equipped to
turnaround
address
time as
in
a-
their
oh.
case against Officer Children.
Oh, just
Let me
regular.
go back to
response. Perfect,
Danny
thank you.
Savalas.
Where's the?
Danny, are you surprised
Is there like a
at the
USB
speed
here that I can
of this
plug
verdict?
this
Does
to?
anything stand out to you as we await the obvious verdict?
Love this space
You know, you talk about that this verdict may have come back very quickly, but if you look at average verdicts, even in serious crime cases, sometimes a jury's only out for a couple hours. This jury has worked for 11 hours or so, as Gabe and you talked about earlier a few minutes ago. So they have put in the work. I mean, they've been in that jury room, and what that tells us is that some of these issues may not have been as complicating as we may have thought here on the outside. And of course, we never know exactly what they talk about. But, you know, it could be the case that they either found that the prosecution failed as to some essential element like causation, or the opposite, that the defense raised really no reasonable doubt in their mind. They got in the room, closed the door, looked around and said, everyone's in agreement, right? Sometimes that happens.
I'm going to ask you a personal opinion. Do you think the prosecutor got it right in the charges that they brought forward? Were there other ways to have tried this case, other charges that might have been more appropriate?
Well, I think you can fairly say that, I mean, reasonable minds can differ as to what Derek Chauvin should have been charged with. But I think it's reasonable to say that at least one of the charges, which I believe was the third-degree murder charge, was a stretch because a court said it was a stretch. A court dismissed it, and then it was reinstated. So that was, I mean, I don't like to use the word stretch because it's not a legal term, but that kind of hung in the balance for a while before it was finally reinstated. So, I mean, probably the easier case to bring would have just been the manslaughter, but the prosecution here was ambitious, and they brought a case that was initially tossed by a court and then reinstated. So those are the cases they have. But all said, they put in a very strong case at the end of the day.
Danny, thank you. I'll ask you to stand by. I want to go back to Gabe Gutierrez, who's outside the courthouse in Minneapolis. And Gabe, we have seen that image behind you of the military vehicles and the extra barricades there. We all, of course, hope that there will be a peaceful reaction, whatever it will be. Can you tell us, are there voices in the community who are actively trying to encourage calm?
Oh, certainly, Lester. And the Floyd family has said, repeatedly that they want calm, that they want peaceful protests. But at the same time, this is a community that has been hurting. I mean, we were here since, shortly after George Floyd's death last May. And many of the people that we have spoken with, even the last several days, they were telling me, Lester, that they had a very difficult time watching this trial. That this was a trial that brought back a lot of painful memories and brought to the surface something that they had been dealing with, not just for months, not just for years, but really for decades, not just in this community, but also in Brooklyn Center nearby, in Chicago, which you mentioned earlier, has also been seeing protests, and so many communities across the country that have really struggled with how to deal with police encounters. And this is seen, you mentioned that the prosecution really tried to make this, and especially in its closing arguments, tried to stress the point that this is a trial about not who Derek Chauvin was, a police officer, but what he did. Yet, as you said, Lester, many folks in this community, and I know the Floyd family as well as Reverend Al Sharpton, as this trial was getting underway, said that this was a trial of the American policing system. And so many of the demonstrators that we have seen, they don't know what the verdict will be. Some are fearful of what it may be. They have told me that they have been traumatized by having to relive parts of George Floyd's death that was so difficult to watch on that video, with Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. But yes, and some others have said that this militarization, in their words, of the preparations for this trial, some 3,000 National Guard troops.
Schools in Minneapolis have been canceled for tomorrow.
Minneapolis have been
the fucking areas have been boarded up.
Police precincts for weeks.
Areas have been boarded up. National Guard has been deployed. Everyone is currently just waiting. Okay, we're in a fucking holding pattern.
Community for the past several weeks. The mayor telling me as this trial was getting underway, as jury selection was getting underway, that this was one of the most significant moments in Minneapolis's history. So, Lester, I don't think the the significance of this trial, not just for this community, but really for the entire country, it can be overstated. Right now, as we're seeing, you may see some folks walking behind me. There's, they're starting to gather outside of this courthouse. Behind me, you've been seeing this picture of this military vehicle behind me. On the other side, there have been, demonstrators that gather there. They've been gathering on both sides of the courthouse. Yesterday, some of the protesters put up air fresheners on some of the side of this wall, signifying the encounter with Dante Wright. And there were these peaceful protests. These marchers went across the streets of Minneapolis yesterday, as they have done, really, for the better part of a year now. But yes, the word has quickly spread, Lester, that this verdict has been reached. They are now anxiously awaiting.
Listen, for the people who are wondering or asking why this, like why all of this shit, why is all this happening? Like, it's because the justice system. It's because at the heart of what people are, criticizing and what people have been complaining about is the fundamental flaw within the American criminal justice system that justice is rarely ever served in cases where there's black victims of police violence. Okay, literally during the process, during this the ongoing court trial of Derek Chauvin murdering George Floyd in cold blood. That was basically televised as a televised event that everyone around the world fucking saw, that 45 specific witnesses encountered, tried to stop, and were pushed away from. Okay, pushed away from actually stopping this murder from happening. Even while that fucking ongoing court case is occurring, there was yet another police murder. Okay, there was yet another police murder of Dante Wright, 20 years old. Stopped because he has an air freshener, who was murdered by a 26-year veteran of the police force who was literally training other cops at the time. There are so many fundamental issues within the criminal justice system. So obviously, and that happened 10 miles away. So that's why the people are fucking fed up, because they have to protest to even get to this level. They feel as though they have to straight up nonstop protest so that justice can be served. This doesn't happen in other countries, especially if you're watching from a European country. Police murders are already unique. Right? A cop killing a civilian, an unarmed civilian, is already a unique situation. So that happening as the likelihood of that happening twice while another fucking ongoing case is happening in the same region, well, that's really fucked up. So understandably, people are upset. France has the same issue you say, but it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near. Anyway, look, I'm going to go back to the special report from NBC. But before I do that, as you already know, it's the top of the hour, every hour, where we have a 60-second ad break, okay? If you no longer want to see the ads, if you want an uninterrupted broadcast experience, you already know what to do. You have to subscribe. You can do it for $5, or you can do it for free. I'm in the Cash App compound right now because I'm doing another thing, and I didn't realize that the verdict was going to drop today, okay? I just didn't know. That's why I'm in here. So you can subscribe for $5 a month. You already know the deal. Or you can subscribe for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. Or you can use AdBlock.
No justice.
If you'd like as well. So I'm going to run the 1-minute ad now, and I'm going to keep running 1-minute ads in the top of every hour. So here's the 1-minute ad now. Okay. Cash App really cashing in on this bet? No, Cash App is not cashing in on anything. I don't even listen, motherfucker. I don't think anybody wants to be sponsored on a stream where I'm talking about police brutality in the United States of America. Okay, I don't think Chad understands. This isn't exactly brand friendly. Okay, nothing I do is exactly brand friendly, but this specifically is not fucking brand friendly. I just happened to be here today because I was doing something entirely different because I thought it was going to be 420. We were going to have like a fun little fucking 420 stream like last year where I smoked weed and did all that. Yes, I know the verdict has been reached. Yes, the verdict has been reached and will be read between the next 30 minutes to an hour, chat. Did you know that the yellow was going to go well with the purple? No, I did not know that this room was going to be purple. What time does your 100th use event start? I think this event started already.
6 months of trials and police brutality. Pog is right. Thanks for the content.
Is this Hiko's cube? I think he has streamed in here before. Yes, I saw that his name was on here.
You say peacock and nobody bats an eye. You say poopcock, and everybody loses their minds.
Okay, dude. Jesus Christ. All right, let's there is an exclusive interview with Donald Trump that we could still fucking go back to, but I want to see this Biden on the Chauvin trial take. What the fuck is this ad? Jesus Christ. Well, they don't have ad block on these. Unfortunately, the only problem I have with the Cash App compound PCs is that they don't have ad block on them.
No peace.
You good?
Cash App told me.
What?
To go like this.
Oh yeah. Well, we're waiting on the Chauvin trial.
Yeah, it's been announced, hasn't it?
The verdict has been reached. It hasn't been announced yet. We don't know what the.
What do you think is going to be the verdict?
I think it's going to be.
It's got to be guilty.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
If they reached it that quickly, it's got to be guilty.
I mean, there's conflicting information on it. Some people say that a quick verdict is often one that sides with the defendant, because you know you're not going through the complicated like legalese, I guess, or the legal jargon to like establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But I do think that it's in this instance, it's so high profile. There have been there's so much information. Like there's so much fucking information available. Conventional wisdom is that a fast verdict is a conviction. It's not necessarily so, and sometimes it's wrong, but no defense attorney feels good about a fast verdict. However, I would want to examine the exact language of the font of the jury note announcing they have a verdict to predict confidently. I do regret being deprived of cable experts opining on the meaning of jury notes. Those dear souls earn their keep. Okay, whatever that.
Is this going to be on like live? Are they gonna?
Yes. In 25 minutes approximately.
I'll be back in here. Can I watch it with you?
Yeah, you can be in here if you want. Yeah.
I don't have to be back on for a while.
Are you okay?
Well, I just did the intro and then.
Okay, so we're waiting on it right now.
All right, I'm gonna go pee.
All right, you go do your thing. I need to pee as well,
This
actually.
has been a very deeply personal case that we have
Sure, if
seen
you want.
play
Here
out
you go.
across the country.
I mean, I have to
Protests
pee
here
really bad,
yesterday, as we mentioned,
how badly
but
do you have
also
to pee?
protests
I have to
across
pee
the
really bad
country.
too. You go pee
And
first.
this is
I'll
also
sit
something
here.
that we know
I'll
law enforcement
wait.
has been
Poggies has
preparing
right, has
for
smelled, has
for
left
several
past
months
Poggies.
now. Here in Minneapolis, we know that there are some 3,000 National Guard members activated. There's law enforcement from other states on standby as well here. They are certainly hoping for the best, peaceful protests, but they are ready for violence. Allison?
Megan, we also know the White House is preparing to make some sort of a statement. The president planning to address America once we have a verdict here. Earlier today, he told reporters that he spoke with George Floyd's family yesterday after the closing arguments. What do we know about that call?
We know that the family, as you mentioned, they did speak with the president. It didn't last too long. I actually asked them about this just yesterday, and they said that they had an opportunity also to speak with President Obama several months ago, that call lasted longer than the one with President Biden, but they appreciated it. They said that it meant a lot to them to hear from the commander-in-chief at their darkest moment. I want you to listen to a little bit of what they said. Take a listen.
He was just calling. He knows how it is to lose a family member, and he knows the process of what we're going through. So he was just letting us know that he was praying for us and hoping that everything would come out to be okay.
Prayers. That's what the family says they have been leaning on this entire time. They have been in the courtroom watching every single moment unfold of this trial. It's been traumatizing for sure, but they are leaning on prayer to get through it, and of course anxiously awaiting this verdict that will be read here in